Crafty Little Things. I'm Andrea, thank you for joining me today. This is a really easy beginner's guide to how to make a card very simply with minimal equipment. So I'm making this card where you can make it just using scissors, okay? So as long as you've got a nice quality cardstock, you don't even need a bone folder. You can use the back of your scissors or a ruler to just fold that down. You can use your fingers, you can use whatever you want. So I'm starting off with a piece of cardstock which I've just folded in half, and that measures 6 inches by 8 inches, and I've folded it at 4 inches. So that is in centimetres, 15.2 centimetres by 20.3 centimetres, and I've folded it at 10.2 centimetres. Now you can score that if you've got a scorer, or you can just fold it in half and press it down. You can do it with your nail, you can do it with... So this is your card base, okay? Now I'm just going to use some simple PVA glue, and what I'm going to do is I've cut 2 pieces of paper. So I've got this scrap piece of paper and it's got a different pattern on the other side. So I'm going to turn it around and use both sides just to give it a little bit of something. You could leave it as one if you wanted, just as easily, but I've just cut it into 2. I'll show you both ways. So this measures, this was just a scrap, so it was whatever it measured. This measures 3 3/4 by 2.5. So that's 9.5 centimetres by 6.4 centimetres. And the second piece measures 3 3/4, that's 9.5 by 3.25, that's 8.3 centimetres. Okay, now I can either lay those on the same way, or I can choose to turn one. Maybe I want the bigger one. All I've done is I've just taken one piece and I've just cut it. Maybe I'd want the bigger one to be the bolder pattern, I don't know. Then I've just taken a little scrap of green. It doesn't even, I think it doesn't even match the greens that are on there, but it's a green. And I've taken that, and that's as wide as my DSP, because it's going to go across the middle. And that measures 1/2 inch by 3 3/4 inch. So that's 3.8 centimetres by 9.5 centimetres. And then I've just cut out, again, you can use dies, you can use a trimmer, or you can just use your scissors. I've cut out a green rectangle, which is 3.5 by 2.5. So that's 8.9 centimetres by 6.4 centimetres. And then a piece of white to go on top, which measures 3 1/4 inches by 2 1/4 inches. So that's 8.3 centimetres by 5.7 centimetres. And that's it. Okay. Apart from, I've got one ink here, which is the Peekaboo Peach, to sort of pick out that, but I could have used a pink, I could have used a more orangey yellow colour, I could have used a green. So I only need one ink pad and a stamp set. Now this is a retired celebration stamp set, so this is from last year, so this would be available on resale quite cheaply if you wanted to try something out. These papers can be available on the clearance rack. There might be something discounted in the retiring sale on Stampin' Up! At the moment. So have a look around for a nice Stampin' Up! Set to use if you want to try Stampin' Up! Make sure that your card is nice and clean. If you do have a bit of a rough edge to your card, you can either just use the edge of your scissors or a craft knife and just kind of run it across, and it can just tidy that up for you. Or you can use an emery board, just to, you know, a nail file, just to sort of get it nice and smooth. If you're using a really good trimmer or really good scissors, it shouldn't happen. Right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stamp on here. Now I want my image to go that way, so I need something across here, so I'll probably put the thinking of you. So I just need one block. I'm just going to use one block for this, and I've chosen a big block because if you can only afford one block, or you only want one block, then a big one is a good idea, because you know that all your stamps you're going to get will fit on it, unless you get the massive full page ones. So if you can only afford to get one block, get a big block. It is better to have blocks that fit your stamp, but I'm just, for the purposes of this video, I wanted to show you how you can do it with just one stamp. Right, so I'm going to go with the Thinking of You stamp. Just want to make sure I've got it right. So I managed to get that a little bit dirty there. Dirty. I'm just going to stamp that in the middle there. And then I'm going to take that off. And then I want it a bit more elaborate. So this stamp set has only got 3 sentiments and 1 flower in it. Now that flower is way too big for this, so I just wanted to show you how, even with just a bare minimum of 4 stamps, you can create something. So I'm going to ink that up, and I'm just going to go around my piece of paper like this. And there you see I've made something much prettier using just 1 ink and 1 stamp set, okay, and 1 block. Now we assemble the card. So I'm going to glue this direct on to here. Now what I could do is I could add another layer for extra dimension. So if I was to just cut this just to show you how I could change it up. Morning. So I could, if I wanted to, just cut that with my scissors and just stick that on there, and then pop this on top of that, and this on top of that. Now that'll just give it an extra sort of layer. Okay, you might want to make this a little bit smaller, or I might want to just stick to my white, or I might want to start off with a green base card. So then, like I said, I can cut this into 2. I could have left this as 1 if I'd wanted to. Could have left it as 1 piece, and I could have just popped my sentiment on there, and that would have been it, a beautiful card. Or I can do what I'm doing, and that is turn them around and add a little bit of something else to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. My glues, I think I've got the wrong Tombow. Always leave a Tombow standing upside down so that it runs into your lid. So I'm just going to pop some glue around the edge and just a little smidgen on the middle, and then don't put it right up to the edge because it's going to spread. And then I'm just going to pop it onto my card and slide it into place, leave a tiny little edge around, and then press outwards and push up and across and down, because then the glue that is near the edge is going to come up to the edge and keep that nice and tidy. And then I'm going to do the other side the other way. So if you've got a better edge, like this one's got a really tidy edge and a bit of a messy edge, then put your messy edge where it's not going to be seen, and again push up and push out from the centre. Now if your hands are a little bit dirty, turn your card over, use the back of your hands and press down. Don't risk getting glue and ink all over your card. Now this little piece I'm going to attach. It's a little bit distressed on the other side. I'm going to attach the distressed side. Just run it along. And this is just to add a little bit of feature, but all it is a little scrap of paper. This could be ribbon if you wanted it to be ribbon, or if you had some ribbon. And now this could be attached flat onto there, and that could be attached flat onto the card. I'm just going to trim that off because it's... That's what it looks like. It's really pretty. If you don't like it like that, you might want it to be a card that opens this way. You might want to pop that on there. Or you might want to pop it over here and have that blank. You might want to just have that right to the edge, like so. It's all up to you. Okay. If you want, you can snip the ends off with scissors just to give you a little bit of shape to the edges. Entirely up to you what you do with it. And that can be flat or it can be with dimensionals. Now you can put dimensionals under each layer or just under one layer. So I'm just going to put dimensionals under this layer. These are quite sticky and they are quite difficult to remove once you put them on. So I will warn you of that. Immediately they come off quite quickly, but if you leave them a couple of seconds, they don't. The other thing about dimensionals is if you wanted to run ribbon behind the sentiment, you've got that little bit of space then to feed a ribbon through. It's good for when you're making boxes and you want to put ribbon underneath the label. You see that just gives it that little bit of dimension. And then I'm going to just use my Tombow and just stick that on. Pop it on sort of there. And then because I've got the dimension, I'm going to just press from the back. And there we go. There's a cute little card using just a scrap of paper and just one stamp set, one ink, and the stamp set didn't even have a lot of stamps in it to choose from. You could have done this without even having any paper at all, because you could have just used your stamp to stamp something out. Let me just show you that in action. So I'm going to make a really, really simple card now. I'm just going to use the same size paper. I'm just going to fold it in half. Again, you could just do this with the ruler or your scissors or something. Just push it down. And I'm going to use the same ink And what I'm going to do, I don't know what is in the middle, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to ink up my stamp. This is a gorgeous stamp, this. And I'm just going to stamp around my card. Leave a little bit of white showing. Don't worry about missing out things, because just pop it on. The middle is going to be covered anyway, but it's just me, I won't let myself not do it. So that's going to take a piece of green. So I've got this piece of white that's been stamped on the other side, but I'm going to just trim that off. And then I'm going to just take a piece of green. I'm just going to cut another square, and then just to edge it off, what you can do is just dip your card into your ink, just to get a bit of an edge on it, and that can just give a little bit of dimension as well. And then I'm not going to use dimensionals for that one, I'm just going to use some Tombow. I'm just going to pop that on there. Just to give you an idea and to show you that you don't need to have tons of stuff to make something. Sometimes you'll see people unboxing and they've got masses and masses of stuff. I think it's nice to be able to do that, but it's also nice to be able to just get yourself one little stamp set, some nice quality paper and cardstock. You know, start yourself off with a block, a nice block, and some good adhesives and stuff, and away you go. So I hope you enjoyed that.